And welcome to Classic Reads. Every month we perform a live read from classic and modern books to bring you a combination of lighthearted laughs and literature. I'm Christie Stratos, historical suspense and historical fantasy author, as if you couldn't tell, and my co-host is sci-fi author David M. Kelly. So tonight we are going to be bringing you an abridged screenplay of The Count of Monte Cristo from the mid-1800s, and that is, of course, as you know, classic literature. As you will see, this is quite abridged so that we can give you kind of the most bang for your buck, even though you're not paying anything to be here. So we're going to have a really good time. Everyone is playing many, many characters. There will be some narration, so you kind of know what's going on. But if you've been looking for the Spark Notes, but in a fun live read version, you have found it. So usually I would tell you everyone on this panel ahead of time, but since we have so many guests, and this is our very first time having so many guests, I'm actually going to just let them introduce themselves. So thank you so much to our guests for being here. You know, this was a little bit more last minute than we usually do it, and you were all so gracious and kind to be here. And especially Margaret, who actually agreed to be here in less than 24 hours notice when had to drop out. So we really appreciate all of you for being here. So without further ado, I'm just going to let us each introduce ourselves. Just tell us your name and what you write, and anything else that you would like to include, including your website. And then we will also talk about what we're working on. So let's start with Margaret, who is an old hand at this. I'm putting you right on the spot.
Right. Thought we were going to go clockwise. I'm Margaret Pinard. Hello, everybody. And I write historical fiction. I tend towards saga, but I also dabble in historical fantasy when it suits me. And you can find me on YouTube at Margaret Pinard. And I'm also part of the AuthorTube Writing Conference. So if you are an author who's writing and you're on YouTube, or you're not, but you just want to learn about stuff, we just had our 3rd annual conference, and there's lots of great talks. So we're just building people to soak up, just like Christy and David are here.
Thank you, Margaret. Yeah, Margaret has a lot to offer if you go to her YouTube channel and the AWC conference. It's really great stuff. There's so much. Thank you, Margaret. And how about you, Tempest?
My name's Tempest Wright. I write historical fiction, but I'm a publisher right now. My website is tempestandj.ca. And I actually published another author. She's in our Arthurian fantasy series that just got released. We released our first book last June. And so we're really just getting started right now, but check out the book. We're really into characters. Anything with really good characters, we love it. So to find out more about us, we're at tempestandj.ca.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And now on to Heidi.
Hi, everyone. I am Heidi Angell. I have been in the publishing industry since 2006 and indie publishing since 2011. Across 7 different genres. I can't stop. 17 books. And I also do courses. So you can find me at HeidiAngell.com, and I'm just here to have a good time.
That's right. That's right. Angel with 2 L's, everybody. You can see it right there. She's typed it out for us.
Yes, I have to apologize. I used 1 L in the graph.
It's an honest mistake. You clearly haven't seen my podcasts where I tell them 2 L's because I'm not that kind of angel.
We love it. And how about you, Antonio?
Hello, I'm Antonio López. You can find me on Antonio López A in several social networks. And my website, I write science fiction, fantasy. Currently, I have one novella published and working on the following. to that, and editing first rounds of some NaNoWriMo work that I finished some years ago. Hopefully soon.
Cool.
Nice. Very exciting. So now the next thing that we typically do, you guys know, do we introduce ourselves, Dave? I can't even remember if we usually do that. I don't think we do.
No, we
I
don't.
think we just go into what we're doing right now.
You did, David. No.
Yeah, maybe you introduce yourself and I just forgot or something.
Meh. Dave, what are you up to? What is coming up in your world?
Not a lot actually at the moment. This hasn't been a good month for me, I'm afraid. So things have been a little bit awkward. But I'm coming out of them, so I will be getting back to writing my story with no name still, with no name.
Oh, good.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, the only other thing that's happened recently was a few weeks ago, I was at the local Sudbury Graphic Con, which was great to be there and meet some old friends and make some new ones, and get some of my books into the hands of people who seem to love them and are willing to pay cash for them. That's always a bonus.
Yeah.
What about you, Christie?
Well, I haven't been doing a ton of writing recently, but I have just jumped back into Prohibited Magic, which I had been writing as a serial on Vella Historical Fantasy. Yes. So I dove back into an episode that I had already written. I edited it into much better shape, and I did some research on it, which was a lot of fun. How do we spend half an hour to an hour researching Victorian bedspreads? No one knows. Why is it so long? No one knows. But it'll be worth it for the part of a sentence that I used it on. Not even the full one.
That's the stuff no one talks about in history books. And so it's so hard to find the evidence.
Right? Exactly.
You'll have to excuse me while I get dressed.
Makeup table.
Yeah.
Makeup table.
Nice.
Oh, ooh, nice.
Oh, that is awesome.
That
Yeah.
is very dashing, I have to say. Ooh, I love it.
Okay.
So
I am the Count of Monte Cristo.
Nice.
you have to be extra dashing. That's why.
Yes.
Antonio is naturally dashing.
Yeah, I need to work on it.
Mm.
Half of it is fake too.
You got the little works perfectly.
It does really. So yeah, that's basically what I've been up to. Not a whole lot, but I am getting back to the writing, and I'm happy to finally be getting back to it. So that is me. What about you, Antonio? What kind of writing or editing? You just told us a little bit about it. Any events, anything like that?
Oh, the writing currently, it's a thriller. That one is in Spanish, about several interconnected stories about friends and people that have problems with a little bit of with the drinking, a bit of the social anxiety part, and they are messy stories, and I envisioned them messy, so untangling them and making sense of them has been a very interesting challenge.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's great. So how about you, Heidi?
Nano.
Ah.
I am actually in the process of republishing several of my books. And yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare while dealing with life stuff. So I haven't written anything new in about a year and a half.
That's a lot. I mean,
yeah, it's
lot.
hard.
Some people might,
but worth it.
Yeah. When you aren't like in publishing and you hear, I've just been, working on republishing, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's actually a really big deal.
Huge. Yeah.
So killing.
Especially when it's 17 books.
So, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
Someone needs a drink after this.
Yeah, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're cheering.
There's a celebration planned for the tunnel that's coming up soon.
Good. You deserve it. How about you, Tempest?
Currently, we're trying to get some editing done on our second release, which hopefully will be released within the next few to 6 months. We're also working on the illustrations for the second book, so that's very exciting. In J.J. Sutherland's fantasy series. And in my book, The McCarthy Journals, which is a historical first book of that historical epic, is going through the editing process as well. So there's a lot of releases on the horizon, but life is hectic.
Hectic but exciting. Hectic but exciting.
Exciting.
Lots to look forward to then.
Yeah.
That's great. And how about you, Margaret?
My current project, which I'm getting to touch almost every day, is about Glasgow in the 1830s. And it's about a woman who is taking on the banking bros and also getting herself entangled with like the pro-slavery lobby and having lots to say about it. So that's my current research interest.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yep.
That sounds like a lot of research too.
I saw a quote the other day. I can't remember where it was from now, but it was saying that basically authors are always at work because either you're writing or you're thinking about writing or researching writing. So we never stop.
Yep.
Nope.
Dreaming about writing.
Exactly.
Or there's a reason that we put at the beginning of our books any similarities to persons known. Are purely coincidental. It's not. We know exactly who we're writing about, but if you know, that's between you and God, and nobody knows. That's your problem. Don't make a scene, people.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to tell people that.
I always tell my friends, be careful because everything you say can and will be used in a book.
Yeah.
I think this book of yours, this next one, sounds like it's going to have all of them. Very nice. Okay. Well, now I think, unless I have missed anything, Dave, that we are ready to move on to the Count of Monte Cristo.
I think so.
Great. So
I shall finish my transformation.
None of us are French, so I'm sorry that this will all be pronounced. Oh, Margaret, do you have some French going on in there?
Yes.
Okay, well, then try not to judge too harshly.
Okay, so you're going to make me look like Kevin Costner in Robin Hood. Thanks a lot. Awesome.
I'll go with whatever you guys say. Don't worry.
Fantastic.
That's a great costume. Yeah.
That's the ultimate.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Can't beat that. All right. So we can head right into it. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Okay, great. So we're going to start with a very, 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 very minuscule summary of what has happened up to this point. Itty bitty. And this is courtesy of Dave, because I said to him, I can't figure out how to make a synopsis of this unless it's 2 giant paragraphs. And he took 15 seconds and wrote a mini summary that I couldn't figure out. So thank you. Thank you, Dave. So I'm going to read this mini summary. And as you all know, or not as you know, but I'm going to be narrating in between so you all know what's going on according to the screenplay. And we're going to cover a lot of ground. So here we go. Edmund, and I apologize again for all of the pronunciations and mispronunciations. Edmond Dantes, falsely accused as a young man, spends 14 years in a remote island jail. He escapes and collects a huge treasure revealed to him by a man he befriended in jail. Now he returns as the Count of Monte Cristo, determined to punish those who ruined his life and kept him away from his beloved Mercedes, who married one of those responsible. So we're currently in the Count of Monte Cristo's revenge era, let's call it. Which is the fun part. So, in the Villefort garden, Maximilian Morel is declaring his love for Valentine, Villefort's daughter.
Tell me that you will not marry Franz.
My father insists that I marry Franz.
If you loved me enough, you would rebel against his wishes. What about your stepmother? Would she help?
I cannot count on her because she is envious of me.
Envious of you?
Yes, she is envious of the fortune that I shall inherit from my paternal grandfather and also from my mother's parents. My stepbrother, Edward, will not share in that wealth.
But why does your father dislike me?
I do not know. Your name struck him like a thunderbolt. He said that your family were Bonapartiste.
A servant opens the window and calls out to Valentine.
Mademoiselle, the Count of Monte Cristo is calling on Madame Villefort. Perhaps you should come in.
I'm coming.
Valentine turns to Maximilian.
I will meet you tomorrow night at 9.
Maximilian watches Valentine as she exits the garden.
What is the Count of Monte Cristo doing at the Villeforts? He seems to know everybody.
At this time, Madame de Villefort is speaking to the Count of Monte Cristo. Valentine is usually with her grandfather. He is paralyzed.
I understand that his mind is sound.
Yes, I suppose so. Noirtier is given brucine. His body does not perceive it as a poison.
He has probably become habituated to it. Small doses of brucine over a long period of time would prevent poisoning from a large dose.
I have a keen interest in chemistry.
Science can be a weapon of good or evil. As medicine, it cures, and as a poison, it kills.
Valentine appears briefly to say hello to the Count, and then she departs.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to see you, Count. Please enjoy your stay.
She's a charming treasure.
She's moody.
Madame de Villefort continues to discuss various poisons. The liquid you gave Edward the other day brought life back into him very quickly.
Yes, I acquired it and much knowledge of such mixtures in the Orient.
Here are some lozenges I have made especially for me when I feel weak.
Madame, please allow me to send you one of my private remedies.
If you insist, I will try them. That evening, Albert de Morcerf calls upon Monte Cristo.
I must speak with you about my upcoming marriage.
I was meaning to ask you about it. Why are you marrying Eugenie down there if you do not love her?
Her father and my father are old friends. However, my mother sides with me. I need your advice on this matter.
I will help you in order to gain your mother's esteem.
What is your plan?
I shall have a dinner party and present a rich suitor to Count Danglars. Although my invitation will include you, you must find a reason to remain away from the party.
I will find an excuse.
The next step in Monte Cristo's careful plan fits smoothly into place. He arranges for Danglars to receive all financial messages for him, feeling certain that Danglars will steam the letters open to learn Monte Cristo's financial secrets. Monte Cristo then sends a telegram to himself at Danglars' address, advising the heavy purchase of Anglo-Spanish bonds. The ruse works, and Danglars invests most of his fortune in the worthless stock. At the appointed hour, Valentine and Maximilian meet again in the garden.
My father received a letter from Franz. He is on his way here to make final marriage arrangements. Now I learn that my stepmother opposes my marriage to anyone. She has hopes that I will enter a convent and that my fortune will go to Edward.
Give up your fortune and marry me, Valentine. Ask your grandfather for help.
That is a good idea.
Valentine visits Noirtier de Villefort and tells him how she feels about her stepmother's plans. Upon learning this, Noirtier opposes Valentine's marriage to Franz.
How can you help me?
Can you please get a notary here?
Why? Do you wish to make a will?
Yes, it will work in your favor.
Valentine makes an appointment for a notary to visit Noirtier. Gerard is not happy when he learns about Noirtier's will.
Noirtier suddenly says he will disinherit Valentine if she marries Franz, and he will give his money to charity? I do not believe it. His mind is gone. Valentine shall marry Franz, no matter what Noirtier wishes.
The Count of Monte Cristo continues seeking to win Gerard's confidence.
Is not Franz de Penay the son of General de Quesnel, who was assassinated by the Bonapartists, of whom Noirtier was one of them?
Yes, that's why I want Valentine to marry France. It will end the feud.
The Count offers his sympathy to Madame Villefort.
It is unfortunate that Noirtier does not leave his fortune to your son Edward. Well, I must leave now. I shall expect both of you at my dinner party.
It is a warm summer night when Monte Cristo's guests assemble at his home. Among them is Benedetto, whom he introduces as Count Cavalcanti. Monte Cristo has many plans tonight. Among them is to torture Gerard de Villefort's conscience.
This is a strange house. One would think that a crime has been committed here.
That, my dear sir, has at times occurred to me. Shall we have our coffee in the garden?
Heloise de Villefort drinks her coffee as she looks at the plants. Imagine if a body were buried there.
Imagine that. The spot you are standing on may even be the place where the crime was committed.
The Count looks at Gerard de Villefort.
He looks frightened.
The Count turns back to his guests.
I will tell you privately that my gardener did find a skeleton here. He was probably buried alive.
Monsieur de Villefort, as chief prosecutor, you should investigate this place.
Gerard looks away and pretends to be distracted with the plants. The Count makes certain that Danglars is impressed by Count Cavalcanti.
Baron, I would like to introduce you to Count Cavalcanti.
Baron Danglars and Count Cavalcanti shake hands.
So, you are of Italian nobility?
Yes, my father is an Italian prince.
Danglars thinks to himself.
Prince. He must be very rich.
As this conversation takes place, Bertuccio is watching from a distance.
Villefort is here, and that young Cavalcanti is a rogue that my sister named Benedetto.
Slowly, the guests begin to depart as the evening goes on. Just as Count Cavalcanti enters his carriage, a beggar appears from the shrubbery. Cavalcanti recognizes the beggar.
Caderousse, what do you want?
Money! I know who you are. Shall I tell Danglars?
How much will it cost to keep you silent?
100 francs.
Count Cavalcanti places 100 francs in a bag and gives it to Caderousse.
Here, take the money and go.
Caderousse takes the money and runs into the shadows. Several days later, Monte Cristo is visited by Danglars.
You look tired, monsieur.
I have lost over 1,000,000 francs in only a few days.
Yes, you should be more careful in your investments.
Your advice is sound, my dear friend.
Danglars sits down and sighs.
I am interested in Count Cavalcanti. Can you tell me more about him?
Yes, he is here to choose a wife.
He would make a fine son-in-law. I prefer him to Albert.
Why?
Albert's father was only a fisherman named Fernand, while Cavalcanti is a true nobleman who is very rich.
Perhaps there's even more in the background of Fernand's life than you know. Why don't you go to Greece and find out how Ali Pasha disappeared?
I will. Perhaps it is a scandal.
If you need advice, I recommend talking to my dear friend, Abbé Busoni. He can guide you in your decision.
Danglars nods at the Count, thinks about his plan.
The night is closing in, but Villefort is becoming suspicious. I must convince him of my integrity.
The Count disguises himself once again as Abbé Busoni when Baron Danglars requests an appointment with him.
Welcome, Monsieur Danglars. I am told you need some guidance.
Yes, I am in need of some advice. My mission is in the interest of public safety. For the public's sake, I need to know this who the Count of Monte Cristo is.
The Count comes from a family of great wealth. My friend Lord Wilmore can tell you more about him. He knows the Count very well.
Thank you. I shall call upon him.
The Count returns home and prepares his other disguise.
To become Lord Wilmore, I will need to get out my grey wig and my black suit.
The Count dresses up as Lord Wilmore and then boards a carriage. Danglars is prompt in calling on Lord Wilmore.
Hello, Lord Wilmore. Thank you for seeing me so soon. I have a question about someone you know well. Did the Count of Monte Cristo have a special reason for buying the house at Atout?
I heard him mention a healing mineral spring there that he is digging up.
Danglars bows.
My thanks for your confidence. I misjudged the Count. You have reassured my mind.
Several weeks later, the Count attends a party at the de Morcerf's place, and he finds that Mercedes is also troubled.
It is warm in the hall. Shall we walk in the garden?
Sure, let's have some fresh evening air.
As they walk in the garden, Mercedes asks the Count a question she has been thinking about.
Sir, if you do not mind me asking, is it true that you have suffered deeply? Were you suffering because of a woman?
Partly. I loved a girl once who could not wait for me, and so she married another man.
But you have forgiven her for your suffering.
I forgive her and no one else.
Albert enters the garden and calls out to Mercedes.
Pardon me, mother, but Monsieur Villefort is looking for Valentine. Her grandfather has died very suddenly.
This is an awful announcement. Please, pardon me, Count.
Of course.
Albert and Mercedes arrive at the Villefort mansion. They find Valentine crying in a chair by her grandfather.
What happened to your grandfather?
It was horrible. He took some lozenges, then he uttered a sharp cry, and then he died.
The next day, Madame de Saint-Méran becomes very ill. Valentine does her best to comfort her. Valentine, I am dying. I wish to see you married to Franz.
No, no, you must not die.
A ghost appeared last night and removed my glass. It's a warning of death. Marry Franz quickly.
Be calm, grandmother. I will summon Franz immediately.
Later that day in the garden, Valentine meets with Maximilian. They hold hands as they speak to each other.
My dearest, you must promise that your marriage to Franz will never take place.
How can I resist my grandmother's last wish?
Maximilian lets go of Valentine's hand and looks away from her.
Adieu. I cannot live without you.
Wait here, Maximilian. I promise to marry you. I love you too much to let you slip away from my heart.
Madame de Saint-Méran dies before Franz arrives. As the doctor is leaving, Maximilian overhears a frightful secret.
Monsieur Villefort, I must tell you both deaths were caused by poisoning. I suspect Rosine was used in both cases.
It's impossible. Are you sure?
Does anyone have reason to profit from either of their deaths?
Only my daughter Valentine. She inherits the entire fortune.
You are a magistrate. Do as you will, but be on your guard.
I beseech you as a friend, keep this a secret, because if the public knew about it, my reputation would be ruined.
I know for certain that it was not Valentine who killed them.
Maximilian finds Valentine in the Villefort house.
Valentine, are you feeling well after what happened tonight?
Oh, Maximilian, you must not be seen here. Please hide in Noirtier's room.
Maximilian hides while the deceased Noirtier remains in bed. Maximilian speaks to him.
You disapprove of this marriage to Franz, sir. Can you prevent it?
After the funeral, Franz returns with the Villeforts to sign the marriage contract.
Monsieur d'Épinay, it is only fair that I tell you that Valentine's grandfather has threatened to disinherit her if she marries you.
I seek happiness, not money.
My master, Monsieur Noirtier, wishes to speak with you, Monsieur d'Épinay.
I shall be there immediately.
He might want to say something to prevent your marriage. I forbid you to interpret anything he tries to say.
On Monsieur Noirtier's bed is a large envelope addressed to Franz d'Épinay. He breaks the seal and reads the letter.
On February 5, 1815, the day my father, General Duquesnel, the royalist, was murdered.
Franz stops reading and looks at Noirtier.
You killed my father!
Franz returns with the letter and tells Valentine and her family about the letter
I'm
and
your
his father. Valentine thinks to himself. Right? Valentine thinks to herself.
Oh, I am saved. Friends will not marry me now.
The following evening, the Danglars are entertaining guests. The Count and Gerard look at Valentine and Albert speaking on a couch.
Your daughter and Albert seem well suited.
The rich Count Cavalcanti suits her better, and besides, I have heard from Greece. All I can disclose to you at the moment is that Count de Morcerf was hardly considered a hero there.
Indeed.
Later that day, the Count and Albert are traveling to the Count's home.
Let us stop for a while and visit my ward, Heidi.
I would enjoy that. I am very interested in the story of her misfortune.
They enter the house and find Heidi sitting by a table.
Heidi, may I present my friend, Viscount Albert de Mercure. He is eager to hear about your childhood.
It is a simple story. I was born in Greece. My father was the great Ali Pasha of Janina, and I was the Princess Heidi. We were happy and at peace when the Turks invaded. With the aid of a French officer, we planned to escape, but the French officer betrayed us. My father's tongue was cut out and he was enslaved, while my poor mother and I were sold by the officer as slaves.
I can finish the story. I bought the little Princess Heidi from the Turkish Sultan.
What a tragic story.
The next day, in great agitation, Albert appears at the house of Monte Cristo. Albert presents the Count with a newspaper article.
Read this news item.
The Count takes the newspaper and reads a letter in the editorial section.
I, Beauchamp, editor, denounced Bernat, French captain who fought at Janina, as the real betrayer of Al Pasha to the Turks.
The Count stops reading and looks at Arthur.
Well, what of it?
My father's name is Fernand, and he served at Janina. I am going to Beauchamp, and I am insisting that he retract this statement.
Suppose that it's true and he refuses.
I will never admit such an insult to my father. I will challenge him.
Don't be so headstrong, Albert.
Later that day, Albert visits Beauchamp at his home.
Beauchamp, I insist that you retract this statement.
I will do no such thing until I am convinced that it is not true.
I demand satisfaction. Choose your arms and seconds.
I do not wish to kill or be killed without a cause. Give me 3 weeks to investigate the truth.
3 weeks is a long time to wait, but your request is fair. In the meantime, I will send Franz to Greece.
Meanwhile, a new tragedy arises. One day, Maximilian, Barrois, and Valentine are at Noirtier's bedside.
My grandfather consents that I keep my promise to you.
Suddenly, Barrois puts his hand against his head.
What is it, Barrois? You look hot. Here, drink this lemonade.
Thank you, mademoiselle. I have been working very hard as of late. Bawa drinks the lemonade.
Oh no, he's going to fall.
I am choking. Falls to the ground. Valentine, call the doctor. I'm dying. After calling for the doctor, Valentine runs in to check on Bawa.
Here are the smelling salts.
A few moments later, the doctor and Mr. Villefort enter.
Who gave you this lemonade?
Mademoiselle Valentine.
Don't see a note here. Also drank this lemonade.
Then why didn't he die?
Your father's system is used to medicinal doses of poison. But obviously Valentine tried to kill him, as she did the others.
No. Do not make me send my daughter to the gallows.
In another part of Paris, Count Cavalcanti is calling upon Count Danglars to ask for his daughter's hand in marriage.
Okay. Is it true that you are heir to a great fortune?
Yes. Does that mean that I may hope to marry Eugenie?
Yes. Consider it a marriage contract. Excuse me, sir, but a beggar left this note for Count Cavalcanti.
Count Cavalcanti reads the note and then hastily departs.
I don't depart, though. Caderousse wants more money. I will have to pacify him to keep him quiet.
Count Cavalcanti meets Caderousse at his home.
I am pleased to see your affluence, Benedetto, or are you still Count Cavalcanti? Who is your benefactor?
You insist on knowing it is the Count of Monte Cristo.
Good. We will rob him. Trace me a sketch of his house.
You villain! Here, he keeps his money in a desk in his Paris home. Monte Cristo goes to Auteuil tomorrow. Now, will you stop tormenting me?
Yes, for a while.
The next day, Monte Cristo receives an anonymous letter.
I will have to dress up as Abbe Busoni tonight. I should also wear my steel tunic.
That night, Caderousse begins his plan. He sneaks into Monte Cristo's house and is going through his desk when the light of a lantern shines on him.
I've lost my beard. I've lost my beard.
Abbe Busoni,
Are you still a thief and an assassin?
please spare me.
Where is your accomplice, Benedetto?
I do not know.
You're a liar. Is he not Monsieur Cavalcanti, whom my friend Monte Cristo has trusted, and who is to marry the daughter of Count Danglars?
Yes.
I will expose your plan.
No, you won't.
Caderousse pulls out a knife and stabs Abbe Busoni in the chest, but the steel tunic saves his life. Caderousse drops the knife and falls back in shock.
You are a scoundrel.
Please, have mercy.
Benedetto has betrayed the Count of Monte Cristo, therefore I cannot spare him. Write a note to Danglars and tell him the real identity of Cavalcanti. Then you may go.
Caderousse writes the note and then exits. As Caderousse leaves, a stranger leaps out of the shadows and stabs him. Abbe Busoni runs inside and sees Caderousse on the ground.
Quickly, write the name of your assassin.
It was Benedetto.
And now I want you to look at me closely.
Who are you?
I am Edmond Dantes.
May God forgive me. I'm dying.
That's one down.
Woohoo!
The attempted robbery is the talk of Paris. Only Albert is too deeply engrossed in his own troubles to be concerned about his friend Monte Cristo.
What did you discover in Greece, Franz?
The traitor Fernand was your father. I have proof.
No.
Franz presents Albert with historical documentation. In response, Albert places his hand over his face.
My friend, I will keep your secret.
Thank you. Oh, my poor mother.
Albert is unhappy and seeks Monte Cristo. They both walk out into the evening streets.
Let's go to the seashore. We need a change of scenery.
Willingly. Let's go away.
As they walk in the direction of the seashore, they both see the Count walking down the street.
We have been looking for you, Count. Please, read this news article. It was in this morning's paper.
It is terrible.
The Count takes the news article and reads it.
Further investigation discloses that the French officer Fernand, who betrayed Ali Pasha and his family, now calls himself Count Fernand de Moncoeur. I am sorry to hear that.
Franz and Albert continue walking as the Count watches them.
Poor fellow. The sins of the father fall upon the children.
Count de Morcerf first hears of the newspaper article when he attends a meeting of the Chamber of Peers. They call for an examination so that Count de Morcerf may defend himself. The examiners agree and listen to the examination with grim intent. The first witness is Heidi. Her testimony convicts Count de Morcerf. When Albert learns of Heidi's appearance as a witness against his father, he goes to find Monte Cristo. Albert finds him at the opera in the balcony.
I demand an explanation of Mademoiselle Heidi's behavior.
Your manner and tone offend me. Leave my presence.
I challenge you to a duel.
Very well. I consider your glove thrown and I will return it with a bullet. Now go.
The news of Albert and the Count of Monte Cristo's confrontation spreads quickly.
Will you go through with this duel?
Yes, it is the only way I can make his father suffer for his wrongdoing.
Albert's mother visits the Count and begs for her son's life.
Edmund, it is I, Mercedes, who pleads with you, not the Countess de Morcerf.
Mercedes is dead to me.
Edmund, I beg of your forgiveness. For my sake, please forgive.
I suffered for 14 years and I vowed to avenge myself.
I too have suffered, but I cannot let the man whom I still love murder my son.
The Count sits down on a chair and thinks about what Mercedes has just said.
Will the duel continue to take place?
Yes, but my blood will flow and not your son's.
I will not permit it.
Would you rather have me tear my heart out instead of resolving on revenge?
Heidi listens in on Mercedes and the Count of Monte Cristo's conversation. She enters the room once Mercedes exits the Count's home. She places her hand on his shoulder. Heidi can see that the Count is not happy.
Did I hear you speak of death, my lord?
Yes, my death. I will write my will.
You must not jest about such a serious matter. If you die, I will die too.
Don't talk like that, my dear.
Heidi exits the room and the Count thinks to himself.
Alas, I might have found happiness after all.
As the hour approaches, Maximilian arrives to act as Monte Cristo's second in the duel. Maximilian watches the Count as he prepares his pistol.
Shall we go, my friend?
A surprise awaits Monte Cristo and his friends at the dueling grounds.
Count of Monte Cristo, I reproach you for exposing my father, but I forgive you because of his early treachery towards you. I offer you my apologies. Will you accept them, sir?
I will gladly accept your apologies.
Albert turns to the crowd.
Then there will be no duel, gentlemen.
The Count watches Albert enter a carriage as he exits the dueling ground.
This is his mother's doing. She brought a dog and told him the truth.
Albert returns home and packs his belongings.
We will leave immediately for Marseille. There is a house there I would like to rent. It belonged to the father of my dearest friend.
At that moment, a servant enters and gives Albert a letter.
What does the letter say?
Monte Cristo has sent money. It's your wedding dowry from years ago. He insists that it belongs to you.
Suppose he is right. It is honorable money.
When Monte Cristo returns to his house, Heidi runs into his arms and hugs him.
I am so glad to see you alive.
The Count wonders.
Will fate permit me to love again?
When Count de Morcerf learns that the duel has been called off, he rushes to Monte Cristo's house.
Do you think that my son, Albert, is a coward?
He is not a coward. Did you come here to tell me so?
No, I have come to tell you that I have always instinctively looked upon you as my enemy, and at this moment, I will challenge you to a duel. Choose your weapon.
I have waited for this moment.
The Count removes his disguise.
Now look at me, Fernand. I show you a face that vengeance makes young again.
Edmond Dantès, you're still alive.
In terror, Fernand runs out of Edmund's house and into his carriage.
Coachman, take me home immediately.
Once Fernand reaches his home, a gunshot is heard inside. The next day, the Count learns of Fernand's death.
That's 2 down.
Next day, Maximilian visits Valentine.
You look pale. Can it be the medicine your grandfather gives you every day?
No, I just drank some milk and it had a bitter taste. I feel dizzy.
Maximilian hears a whimpering sound arising from Noirtier's room.
Your grandfather's trying to say something. He seems alarmed.
Suddenly, Valentine cries out.
I feel ill.
Maximilian calls upon the doctor.
What is it this time? Usually you summon me too late.
This time it is Valentine. She feels ill.
In despair, Maximilian rushes to Monte Cristo for help.
I love Valentine. How can I save her?
Why must you embroil yourself with the accursed Villefort?
Your face frightens me. I thought you were my friend.
I'm sorry. I am your friend. I shall see Noirtier at once.
The Count follows Maximilian to the Villefort's home. He enters Noirtier's room and speaks to him.
You have been feeding her small doses of brucine. Good. She will recover. I shall see to that.
The Count returns home and dresses in his Abbé Busoni disguise. The Abbé Busoni becomes a frequent visitor at the Villefort mansion.
And I still can't find my damn mustache. Valentine, I have been watching over you every second. I emptied your glass and gave you a wholesome draught before you drank your medicine.
You are very kind, Holy Father.
I have watched a person pour deadly poison into your glass. Stay awake tonight and pretend to sleep, and you will see the face of the one who is poisoning you. Please make sure not to drink it.
Who would desire my death?
Pretend to sleep and you will see.
That night, Valentine remains still and pretends to be asleep. She hears the door open and sees her stepmother dripping poison into her glass. The next day, Abbé Busoni visits Valentine.
I saw the face of my stepmother. Why would she poison me?
You are rich, Valentine. She wants your money. Don't worry. I have a plan. You must trust me completely.
Abe Busoni reaches into his pocket and takes out a pill.
Take this pill. Do not be frightened, even if you end up in a coffin.
I will do as you say.
Early the next morning, Maximilian visits Valentine and finds her unresponsive. He runs into the hall yelling.
Help! Valentina's dead!
Valentine's family run into her bedroom and observe her as Maximilian cries over her body.
She has been poisoned, which means it is your duty to find the murderer.
Gerard wonders how this will affect his reputation. After quickly pondering about it, he makes an announcement.
I pray that everyone in this room will keep this poisoning a secret. I promise you that my daughter's death will avenge.
Yeah, I'm not keeping that a secret. We just all need to know that's what happens next. I love her.
Wonderful. That was so much fun. Thank you so much. All of our guests, you were awesome.
The
it was a great
costumes
time.
were amazing.
The switching back and forth was
There's
really
my Busoni beard.
There it is.
There you found it.
I found it too late.
Thank you, Amber. So glad you enjoyed it. And Hillary says amazing costume changes and accents. And Amber had said, this is so much fun. Thank you both.
Thank you.
You all did a great job transitioning between characters. I could, I had like my document on my screen and I could hear the difference between all of them. And I saw a lot of your costumes. I couldn't help but look. I can like watch this back and see the whole thing. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
I was trying to go for the prepare to die line from Princess Bride, and then David.
I totally said it.
Yeah.
Montoya. That's not.
Yeah, but we all heard it. We all heard it.
We all did.
Proof of
And
good
what?
taste.
Sorry? I missed that.
You interpreted it as a Star Wars thing. Luke, I am your father, but it was actually going to go into like the Princess Bride quote. But
Okay.
they're both fathers who
You
I don't
killed
know.
my father. Prepare to
Prepare
die.
to die.
Yep, that's where my brain went. I heard
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. You even sounded like him.
Yes,
Mhm.
I was trying for creative license.
Sorry, I just thought of Star Wars.
But I have to say, I like it when you're like one down, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that is a Darth Vader-ish kind of,
Vibe.
Yeah.
Darth Vader died.
Yeah.
I love it.
Loving the props.
Paper crafts.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah. We do what
Sorry about Bingo's interruption there.
What is the big white bow tie thing you had for the Count?
That was
Oh,
It's his cravat.
It's my,
It's a cravat. I love it.
That's
What does the
insane.
bottom look like?
That's
What's the bottom look like? That is amazing. Oh my
That is
gosh.
effort.
How long did it take you to make that?
About 10 minutes.
Wow.
Really? I couldn't.
It
have
looks
done
like
that in 10
more.
minutes. That's awesome.
Nice. That looks pro.
It's just bits of paper,
Yeah.
like rolled up and taped together.
It's amazing what
Love
you do
it.
with paper. I got on YouTube and found out how to make a tiara. It's just paper rolled up and
That's
like
awesome.
Looks awesome.
perfect. I don't know.
And congrats to Tempest switching between servants so
Uh-huh.
quickly.
That was good, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I had to make sure, see if I could make my fedora tap.
It worked. It worked.
It was fun.
Yay.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you for being here.
That was
Yeah,
fun.
everybody
I have
did
a
absolutely wonderful. It's like you should be very proud of yourselves. I mean, I was wondering how we were going to manage to do this at all. There were so
Yeah.
many characters.
I'd originally planned on taking the pea coat off because it's hot for that, but there wasn't a chance to do so. So that's okay.
Heidi, did you spoil the next step? Does they tell about the poisoning? Are you ruining the book for me?
No.
No. There's so many.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The book is how many years old? I think it's too late. If you haven't read it, you're not going to. Watch
I'll
the
give
movie.
you. I'll give
It's
you a
good.
spoiler. Actually, don't watch the 2005 version of the
Mm-mm.
film with
Jim
what's his name?
Caviezel.
Who?
Jim
Yes.
Caviezel.
Yeah.
Is
They've
it?
absolutely butchered the story. It's crazy.
Oh no.
Creative
It
license.
was more of Count of Monte
Good
Cristo
I
British
hate-
version.
Yes. I
Yeah.
hate to say it, and I know I'm gonna say sacrilege because I, as a kid, watched the movie first and I loved it. And then I
Oh.
read the book and I was kind of disappointed.
Oh.
That's because you fell in love with a different story.
I
Yeah.
did.
And that's
I
okay.
did. I
That's
did.
totally okay. If they had called it anything else, it would have been just fine.
Yep.
But
you know
they
what?
didn't, did they?
I
No.
know. And you know what? I have the same reasoning when it comes to the New Around the World in 80 Days and Persuasion, because those are some of my favorite classics. And
Yep.
I can't watch the new versions. I'm just like, no.
Mm.
Yep. I have to say the only exception to that kind of rule that I have was I just recently watched Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. They can do that all day long with all of
Yeah.
the classics. I am sold on it.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Right.
Nothing to do with the original story. Well,
Yeah.
very loosely to do with the original story. But we all knew that going into it because zombies.
Right.
Because
So,
zombies,
you know, it's okay. we know it's not going to be the same. That's
Yeah.
good.
That's right.
Make sure you
Pride and
change
Prejudice
the
was
title
another
just
good
a bit.
one, wasn't it, Christy?
You
Yeah.
guys did really good on that one. Yes. You did fantastic.
We had a lot of fun with that one. That was good. The first
I
one.
actually watched the TV show with what's the guy's name as Mr. Darcy that everybody
Are
was.
you are you
Colin
struggling to think of Colin Firth's name?
Yeah, Colin Firth. Yeah,
How
him.
could you?
David, get with the picture.
Yeah. It's like they sold these. They auctioned his shirt, the shirt that he wore when he came out of the river recently, and it sold for a crazy amount of money. I was
Yeah.
I
like,
did not know that. That's hilarious.
I
Sorry.
didn't know I did. Wow, wow.
it's like I don't see anybody like lining up to buy my wet shirts.
You're
And
not
I'm the Count of
alone.
Monte Cristo, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Well,
should
you
line
know,
up to buy your
if
mustache.
that cravat's for sale, I'm
Yes,
saying.
girl. That's right.
We can auction it off for a good charity cause.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love
I
that.
don't think you'll get much from it.
And you can put up a set of beards slightly used.
Yep.
There you go.
The key is the right cause. That way we can justify it to our husbands. I'm just saying.
Mm. That's true, yeah.
Those are great.
I love it. Yeah, those are great.
This one was a problem. It kept sticking to my face.
Did you decide ahead which voices you were going to do, like the lower voice for the Abbe, the priest?
No, actually, I had no idea until we started reading it.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
I was busy making mustaches and beards and tricorn
The
hats.
obvious
And
changes.
it paid off. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Clearly helped you get in
The subtle.
And I also, I just realized that I
You like
forgot
you like that?
Yeah.
If I'd
forgot
known
my
you were
Abbe's
coming in with
collar.
an accent, Dad, I would have matched you, but
I
I
made
wouldn't have.
an
I would have
Abbe
butchered
collar.
it. It would have been horrible. But
And the reason we chose this one, Christy, was because
This month, yes, was Alexandre Dumas' birthday. So that's why, yes, I should have said that in the beginning. And so we decided to do, well, we were deciding between a couple of things, but the Count of Monte Cristo won out, especially once Dave found this abridged screenplay where we could bring you so much of it and have such a fun time. So this was the one. So what are we going to be doing next month, Dave? At least in general. We have a general plan.
A general plan. I think we have a general plan that we're going to do a general Sherlock Holmes.
Ooh.
So
Right now we're looking at doing a short story that we can read you in whole, so that it isn't like a small part of one of the novels. So we're thinking about doing that, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Dave has already decided who he's going to be.
oh,
I
it
have.
could possibly be Holmes.
I have. I'm going to be Dr. Watson.
He wants to be
Really?
Watson.
Oh, I
will be
love
Dr.
that.
Watson.
You're right, Margaret.
Nice.
So make sure you tune in next time. Let's see, what is that date? That date is going to be, excuse me, it should be August 8th.
I always loved Nigel Bruce in the Basil Rathbone movie.
You can't not love him. He's really fun. Oh, Margaret, you gotta check it out.
I remember Basil Rathbone's face. It's hard to forget, but I don't remember Nigel Bruce's face at the moment because I'm more of a Jeremy Brett fan with that series, and that's like a comfort watch. So that's
Sure.
Watson. Yeah,
They're fun. They're the older ones we're talking about are a lot of fun. And and it's just an older time period that the black and white is great and everything. It's really fun to watch.
But also, it's very difficult to top Jude Law as Watson.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. That's right.
It was a good one.
Jude Law.
He's not your grandfather's Watson,
No.
He's not.
but he's good. I agree. He was good.
He's nobody's Watson.
Antonio disagrees with you, sir.
Anyway, is that it, Christie? Have we come to an end of our fun read?
I think so. I think that's it. Our next one should be, it will be August 8th, but we'll definitely announce it later to make sure everybody is on the right date. So, and it will be some sort of Sherlock Holmes, most likely a short story, so we can read the whole thing. So I think that is it for us.
Perfect.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to the audience.
Yeah,
you guys are
thank
awesome.
you.
Thank you for watching and appreciating
Hey,
all
cool.
of the hard
Excellent. And if that's everything, we'll say good night. Good night, everyone.
Right.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.